What about in terms of adapting to Thai people and Thai culture?
Well, since Thai culture is very different from Western culture, especially German culture, I think you got to be very mindful. You have to observe people a lot. You have to like learn about the culture by watching it, by watching people and their behavior, see what their habits are, what you're supposed to do in certain situations. I think you can learn a lot about Thai culture really just from watching people, observing people. And I did that in the beginning. I started learning the language right from day one when I arrived here, which helped me a lot. And I didn't really have to adapt a lot, to be frank. I think one thing you might don't want to raise your voice when you talk to people, like you want to cut down the emotions when you talk to Thai people. But then again, Thai people themselves can be very emotional. And I think, since Western culture is so, it has become a part of Thailand, I think people are not extremely strict on foreigners if they do something wrong, if they don't know the culture. But I don't feel like I had to change a lot. Like I really feel like I'm the same person. Of course, when I speak Thai, I change my way of speaking a little bit. It's not the way I'd speak when I speak my mother tongue, right? But yeah, other than that, I don't think I had to adjust greatly. It wasn't difficult.
Is it hard learning Thai language?
Uh, Honestly, a lot of people will disagree with me, but I think it's not hard. Like, I think it's a relatively simple language. Um, you have to get used to certain sounds that you might not know from your own language. The writing is completely different, but even that I didn't find that difficult. Um, I think if you're serious about it, if you put in some effort, everybody can learn it. And I think, frankly speaking, again, everybody who lives here actually should learn it. I think it should be mandatory to learn and speak Thai if you plan on living here long term. So for me, it wasn't hard. I don't think so.
Actually, I want to say it's not hard, but it's my mother tongue. But I personally think like it's very easy and simple language structure. But
Yeah, I
the
mean,
writing it can be difficult, but the structure is very simple, in my opinion.
yeah, in terms of grammar, I had to basically adjust to using less grammar in terms of not conjugating verbs and these things, because I'm used to a language which has extensive grammar, right?
Very complicated grammar. I heard in German they are also like female and male division.
Oh yeah, sure. The gender of nouns, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to learn, but I think I have to learn Turkish first.
Yeah, I think you should.
So another question is, was there a time when you feel lonely or homesick?
No, not really. To be honest, feeling homesick, like I wanted to be back home. No, never really. Of course, I miss my friends, back home, but we stay in touch basically all the time, and we talk a lot. Same with my family.
Really,
Missing
for
Germany,
8 years, and you don't.
I don't know. It's, maybe I'm a weird person, but I did not, or I still don't really miss Germany. Like not to the extent that I really feel like I want to go back home, or that it makes me sad or anything. No, not really.
I do got homesick actually sometime, but when I say homesick, I mean I miss Thai food.
Yeah, I don't even miss German food, so I don't know.
Like there's a time when I miss Thai food so much. I got so sad when I look at the food and I need Thai food. It happened to me just sometime, but now it doesn't happen anymore because I kind of get used to living here already.
Yeah, same with me. I got used to the food and the situation and everything. Yeah, not really missing anything. And I mean, there are big supermarkets where you can buy like German food and stuff. So yeah.
But here in Turkey, it's very hard to buy Thai food.
Yeah.
Food from
Well, you
Southeast Asia is hard to buy.
probably have to go to a restaurant or something.
Yeah, and the restaurant, they sell very expensive food.
Sure. I mean, the thing is, in Thailand, this is everyday food. You know, people eat it every day. It's part of the what's it called, the diet of people. But in, you know, other countries, Thai food is seen more as some sort of luxury. You have it every once in a while. You go to a nice restaurant, you know.
Yeah, I understand. You teach English for Thai people.
Yes.
You see Thai people
Yes.
every day. You talk to Thai
Yes.
people. So can you please describe Thai people in 3 words?
3 words. Okay. I want to be polite, but I also want to be honest, huh?
Okay.
So I'd say careless, friendly, and courteous. So Thai people are very courteous. They're very caring people. They're very friendly, but they are also very careless, especially in terms of safety, and being on time. I mentioned that earlier. You know, in those regards, they are very careless. I think there's always an easy excuse for something. Yeah, which I don't like, but it's the way it is, and this is part of the culture.
So
but on the other hand, they're very kind-hearted. You know, they're very kind-hearted. They're courteous. They like to take care of their guests, which is great. So yeah, you have that side too.
Okay, that's interesting to hear.
Well, I could also say that Germans are obsessed with being on time, you know, or they're being obsessed with work, for example, you know, and giving work too much importance in life. It's all, you know, it's all a matter of perspective, I think.
But for me, I think being on time is great.
Sure.
But we're very chill people, I think. Thai people are very chill.
Thai people are super laid back, yeah, extremely. Mm.
So the best thing about Thailand, can you tell me?
So there's a sort of freedom you have in Thailand. There are a lot of things you can do. There are a lot of things which are not regulated by the law. I think this freedom you have here, especially as a foreigner, because you're still kind of an alien and you're being treated differently. This freedom is great, but I mean, this freedom is also kind of the worst part of Thailand because so many things are not regulated, like traffic or labor law, that people actually suffer under this sort of freedom, I want to say. So yeah, for me, I don't feel watched. I don't feel like I'm about to do something wrong all the time. Germany is a very heavily regulated country. There's rules for everything, right? And I don't feel that here. And of course, I mean, it's the weather. It's always sunny. It's always warm, which I love, you know. Yeah.
I like hot weather. Here it's very cold. Also in Germany, right?
Yeah, I mean, winters in Germany can be cold. I kind of miss autumn sometimes, you know, like the feeling you get during autumn, being at home, cozy, you know, outside looks very beautiful. But I prefer sun. I prefer the hot weather.
Me
it's
too.
Just nicer.
Actually, it's summer right now in Turkey. What is the worst things about Thailand?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think the worst thing is something I don't really suffer from, but it affects Thai people more than me, I think, which is the corruption, which is the inefficient government, and you know, such things as equality or inequality, I shall say. I don't know. Labor law.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
Labor rights. I mean, human rights, of course. The issues with democracy. I think these are the biggest problems. These are the worst things about Thailand, but they don't really affect me so much. They affect more, you know, the people who were born here, who live all their lives here, you know.
The next question is your favorite Thai food.
Uh, I don't have a favorite Thai dish. There's a lot I like. I like tom yum goong, but I guess something I will always enjoy is fried chicken with cashew nut. In Thai, it's gai pat mit mamung himapan, if I remember that correctly,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Very delicious, very delicious. Even though I reduced meat to almost zero, but this is something very delicious. I like that.
Are you a vegetarian?
No, I'm not. But I just try to eat as little meat as possible.
That's great for your health. So the next question is your best experience in Thailand.
So I think my best experience really was my first year in Thailand. I spent my first year in Ranong, and I didn't know anything about Thailand, but I basically learned everything in Thailand. And the language, I met so many people. I made, friends, and like getting used to the food, getting used to the culture, the language, everything basically was an adventure in the beginning in this first year. And there's no single thing or point where I can say, okay, this was the best experience, the greatest moment. But yeah, pretty much the first year with all the ups and downs was a great time. I felt extremely alive. I was still a little bit blinded by, everything being new, and I was unfamiliar with a lot of things. But that was a great time. I remember that fondly, very well.
I remember the first year when I came to Turkey. I just travel and eat and trying to get used to Turkish culture.
I see.
Yeah, so the most important lesson you have learned while living abroad, what is it?
The best lesson, the most important lesson.
Yeah.
I'd say when you go abroad, when you go to a different country to live there, really nothing is going to be the way you expected it to be. I think that's something I learned. Like whatever you imagine, whatever you expect, it's probably not going to be like that. So yeah, don't imagine things. Also, of course, one thing I learned is when you go somewhere alone, you are constantly responsible for yourself and for every little thing you do. Everything is your own responsibility. Making friends, being successful, getting a job, everything is your responsibility. Nobody will come to you and say, hey, I'm going to do this for you or that for you. You basically always have to make the first move, or at least you have to put yourself in a position that makes you approachable. When I think about my close friends in Thailand, many of them who are Thai, I think they would have never talked to me. They would have never approached me if I hadn't approached them first. If I, hadn't started certain hobbies, which got me closer to people, like playing card games, board games, these things, made a lot of friends through that. But again, that's my responsibility. Like if you don't push yourself to go out and meet people and do things and become part of the society, I think you're going to live a very isolated life in your new home. So yeah, I think taking responsibility for every little thing is going to be that's a lesson I learned. What's your experience on that? Like with making friends and these things?
In terms of making friends, it's not hard to make friends with Turkish people. They're very welcoming and they always come to you and want to engage in conversation.
Oh, okay.
They want to talk to you, but I personally think that Thai people are harder to talk to. Is it?
Yeah. I think they're many of them are shy, especially when you're a foreigner.
Yeah, we're shy people.
Yeah, but very friendly. Once they open up, they're very funny. They're very friendly. Yeah.
Okay, teacher Mark, this is the end of our interview. I'm really thankful that you're here.
You're welcome. No problem. Thanks for having me and asking these interesting questions. I hope I could answer them fairly well.
You answered it very well.
Thank
I'm
you so
sure
much.
a lot of people will like it or hate it.
Thank you so much. Perhaps. I'm actually okay with both. So, yeah.
T-shirt, thank you so much. Goodbye.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
So that's it guys for our today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, please hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming content. See you next time. Bye!